In the next chapter, we want to talk now about US clients, right? So if you're a US client right now with FTMO, if you have been affected by this, what can you actually do? What are some solutions right now? Because we talk about now a lot about the future. How will the industry change in the future? What are the possible ways there? Maybe prop trading in the with CFDs will continue, maybe it will not continue, only on future basis, then some partnerships will happen. These are the scenarios, right? But what about right now? What are the steps you can take? So for this, guys, we'll go back here to this presentation, and I have some kind of good news, some kind of bad news. There are some solutions you can think about, but they are not for everyone, right? Basically, the solution you can do is you can start a offshore company, right? You can register an offshore business, right? This is basically one key how you can continue to work with FTMO, right? So first, let us establish who this solution is for, because this is not an easy solution, right? It's not for someone who just wants to now purchase challenges and wants to become an FTMO trader like it used to be, and therefore just opens up a company. That would be a little bit much, right? But this solution is kind of for customers that are US clients and they have FTMO accounts. Maybe you're working with FTMO and maybe you have a 200K account, and so you have already profits that coming in from FTMO, and you want to make your business with FTMO safer. So you want to build this offshore entity so that first of all you're more protected when working with FTMO because of the changing regulations and the regulatory environment. But also, if you do that, build an offshore business, then you can purchase FTMO challenges again, right? This is the key factor. If you have an offshore business and register this with FTMO, then you can purchase challenges again, right? Even though you're a US client, because the account is basically run through your business that is offshore outside of the US. Okay, so maybe let's say you're already FTMO trader, basically you're running a 200K account, and basically then this offshore business idea could be a good idea for you because it can make you more tax efficient. I cannot talk much about taxes here because this is totally different topic, and I cannot give you any advice here. However, you would need to do your own research and then meet with some tax experts. However, this could make you potentially more tax efficient, so it's anyway a good thing to do if you are managing big capital. But the second thing, it will enable you to purchase FTMO challenges again. So you could, for example, think about doing this, and then you could purchase another 200K FTMO challenge and then reach the maximum allocation with FTMO of 400K, right? So this is a solution for traders from the US that are already working with FTMO, already have an account there. Or this could also be a solution for traders that want to build up a portfolio of prop companies, right? This is the second kind of trader this would actually be suitable for. Think about, okay, you're already funded with other companies. Funded, it's not really funded, but let's say you're already a prop trader with other companies, right? Maybe you're in the funded trader, right? Maybe you're in E8, maybe you're in funded next, which is in the UAA, right? So you have already some kind of prop companies you're working with, you have some kind of bigger capital coming in. You also want to, again, make your business more protected, right? Because you also don't know what will happen with E8. You don't know what will happen with the funded trader. These are US-based companies even, right? So in this case, it also makes sense to start this offshore business, and then you can, once you have it, you can also diversify into FTMO and get some accounts there, right? So this is kind of the second trader this would suit for, right? And if you're a completely new trader that doesn't have any accounts anywhere, then this solution is not really that good for you, right? You should not basically start an offshore business just to buy FTMO challenges, right? If you're completely new, then what is the game plan in this case? In this case, if you're completely new, you want to get funded somewhere, you would try to seek out some prop company that is still providing service in the US and that is basically, in the best case, not located in US right now. So I would maybe look at funded next, which are in the UAA, right? Try to get funded there, and once you're funded with some of them, then you can, in the next step, establish this offshore business, and then you can diversify into FTMO as well, because I think it totally makes sense to diversify to FTMO, because FTMO is the biggest one in the prop space and is just the best company, and you need to have that in your portfolio, right, if you diversify between companies, right? With that being said, if you're a complete new trader, this is not the best solution for you, but it could be a solution on the way, right? Once you're evolving, once you're a prop trader with another company that is still accessible from the US. So now let's look into this some more, because I did some research on it, guys. I will also provide all the information in the description of this video, all the videos I looked into, all the links of articles I read through. And like I said, this research is not crazy in depth, right? This is research, to be honest, that I had to do within one afternoon, and that's basically it, right? So don't expect too much. And like I said, you know, this information, always look at it with your own discretion, right? This is not, doesn't mean this is everything here is 100% correct. It's just what I found in my research, and I want to pass it on to you so you are already a step ahead, right, and then can continue it. But don't take every word here as 100%, right? I'm not your personal expert, and I'm also not trying to give you any advice, right? Anything here could be completely wrong. Do your own due diligence. That's what I want to say with that, right? And I don't want to get you in any trouble either, right? Now let's look into it though. So basically this is the solution, right? If you're a US client, you want to continue doing prop trading, then it would make sense to establish an offshore business. The first kind of country, place I came up in my research, I think it's the best one. This of course is also subjective, but I think for this purpose it is the best one. Like I said, this is only my own information that I researched. I have not done this process myself, so there might be on the way things where you find out, oh, actually this doesn't really work, or there is some kind of step that is not feasible. So however, from my research, it looks like Estonia would be the place to go for, and let me tell you why. It looks like from my research that the e-residency here that you would need to get first to be able to establish this offshore business is very easy to do, rather easy, and therefore this would be my first choice. Alright guys, so before we talk about like the tax benefits and these kind of things, let's just see how you would open this company, because I think the most important thing actually is how easy it is to do in this kind of case, because basically you want to open up a company for yourself. It's almost kind of like you are a freelancer, right? And you need to have this kind of business just for yourself, to open it up for yourself. And yeah, a lot of digital nomads, they actually go about it in that way. They open up a small business that is easy to open up internationally, and do their freelancing through the business for some tax advantages, right? And this is actually also the kind of field I research. So here you can see the first step is to get an e-residency card. Then the second step is the incorporation, as you can see right here. Now let's go quickly, guys, to the tab of the e-residency card. This is here because this is very nice actually. I'm also a little bit new to this topic. Of course, I know Estonia. If you're not familiar with this country, I thought I don't need to introduce it here, but okay, let's do a little bit of an introduction. It used to be a Soviet Union member, right? But it's now its own country, and it is also part of the EU zone, and it's a very, very special place. I'm sure you've heard about it. I mean, it's widely known that they are doing something that is very unique in the world. Basically, they digitalize their whole country, right? So all of the bureaucracy, everything is digitalized. Everything goes through the internet, so they have a very fast internet, and they are also a startup maker, right? Attracting a lot of startups because everything is digitalized, everything is easy to do. They want things more easy and more accessible, which is amazing. Attract also a lot of startups that do their business through Estonia, and of course they are also attracted by tax benefits. So now let's look through this quickly. In 2014, Estonia was the first country in the world that launches its e-residency program to fulfill its ambition of creating a borderless digital society of global citizens. And this is very nice. Like I said, it's for global citizens, so this is for everyone. This is the very, very special thing, which is amazing, right? like what kind of country is doing this, right? The program provides holders of an e-residency with a transnational digital identity. This identity allows them to access platform built on inclusion, legitimacy, and transparency. E-residents also have access to the European Union business environment and can use Estonian public e-services. People from across the globe choose to become e-residents so they can start and run a trustworthy, location-independent EU company online with all the tools needed to conduct business worldwide entirely online. So this is the key paragraph right here, and this is why I choose Estonia here as the first possibility. Like I said, it's for global citizens, and you can apply for the e-residency card, and then through that you can run a location independent online company, right? This is the nice thing about it, right? No, you don't need to go to Estonia physically. You can do all of this online and then have your online business, right? And it allows you to access the EU market as well, right? Maybe you don't only want to do this for prop trading, maybe you can also widen your business for other services. For example, you could sell your knowledge, your trading knowledge. You could sell this in some kind of education packages as well, stuff like that, and then you just have a normal EU online business, right? So this is very nice. And what can you do with e-residency? You can set up and manage location independent company online from anywhere in the world, establish a trusted EU company online in 1 day, manage the resulting company fully online, apply for business bank accounts, this is very good, and conducts a secure e-banking, access international payment service providers, PayPal, Braintree, etc., digital sign and transmit documents, declare Estonian taxes online. Okay, so basically this is a brief view on it. I will provide this link and then you can look for it yourself. Okay, so now here's some key figures. First of all, if you have this kind of business opened, then your corporate tax will be 0%. Now distribution tax, this is like up to 20%, regular it's 14%, and withholding taxes is 7%. Now we want to look quickly at the cost. So acquiring the e-residency card, so the incorporation, is 580 euros. And here is included is acquiring e-residency card, company formation, registered business address, and a company contact person. So now keep in mind, all of this you will get with the incorporation fee right here. However, as you can see, e-residency application also costs. So I'm not sure why it's listed actually here, acquiring e-residency card. This you need to add it up together, the incorporation and the e-residency application, which is then a total cost of 844 euros or $914. Right? So now the other things you will get is the company formation, the registered business address. So this is nice, you will get a business address. Does that mean you need to be there in Estonia in an office? No, this is a virtual address, business address, right? Where you just have kind of a business address, right? That you can provide, your business is located there, and there if you get some mails, or maybe some virtual offices even have a phone line, they will be there, and then this will be forwarded to you in some way, probably electronically, right? So then you have a company contact person, so that is good. Of course, you will have somebody to help you set it up, but then also some person that can be contacted if your company needs to be contacted, I believe. So this is very nice. And then next to the setup cost, you need to keep this running, of course, and there's a running cost and annual fee, but this is also very small. It's 180 euros, which is $195, right? So all together you have this setup cost of, it's rounded up here. Like I said, I got this from a source that I will link also down here. It's actually from another video source, and the setup cost, they estimated it to $920, and the annual fees rounded up to $200. And basically for that you have no corporation tax and this distributed profit tax of 14%. So this is really nice. And if you would run your whole prop trading business over a service, over this kind of company, then you're basically much more protected, right? In change of coming regulations in the US, because other companies could be affected as well. You might have tax benefits, but keep in mind US taxes their citizens everywhere. First of all that, and second of all, this is not a way to do tax evasion, right? If you live in the US, you still need to pay taxes there, right? However, your business that is in Estonia still has a corporate tax of 0, so you don't need to pay any taxes on the profit that your business is generating, right? You only need to pay taxes on what you pay yourself here, and then I think you need to pay taxes to the US as well, of course, but I'm not sure if the taxes can be lowered then, because you basically pay in 2 countries, right? This you need to see with your tax expert, of course, so I'm not an expert on that. However, I just want to point out, if you think about, oh, this is great, I can just escape there and never pay taxes in the US, no, you can't. However, there could still be some tax benefits, right? It depends on how much profit you make, how big that figure is, right? Normally, the more profit you make, the better it is to do this kind of offshore business, right? Alright guys, so here we want to look at another source that I found, which I will of course also link in the video description. And yeah, as you could see guys, it is basically cheaper to set up a Estonian company than even buying a 200k FTMO challenge, which in my opinion is amazing. So it is very cost efficient, first of all, and second of all, it seems very easy. And how easy it is, we will see that in this blog article right here. Keep in mind, of course, there are other possibilities. We will go over them as well. For example, the place that is known the most is probably the UAE, right? Dubai, everybody goes there, especially if you're successful with trading, you go there. We will definitely look into that too. However, I still ranked Estonia higher just because it looks very easy to do, but do your own research. UAE might be even better after all, since I personally know a lot of traders who go there, right? Alright, a guide to starting a business in Estonia as a non-citizen. If you have thought opening a new business somewhere with plenty of government support, expanding your business into the EU, or making it easier to work as a contractor, and this is important because basically when trading with a prop company, for example like FTMO, you are basically a contractor, right? You're basically a freelancer providing your trading signals. You're not even doing anything in the markets itself. You don't do anything in the markets, which is nice. When you establish your business, you should also of course frame it in that way, because if you say, oh, my business is basically a hedge fund and I'm basically doing something in the market, that is not correct. You're only trading demo, and it is better of course to present it that way, because first of all, that is the truth. You're not a hedge fund, so you should not make up anything that is not correct. But second of all, it is always better to show that you are a freelancer contractor and not doing anything in the real market, because out of my own experience, whenever you do something with opening up a business and you're basically doing something in the markets physically, normally that makes it harder, right? So basically, yes, making it easier to work as a contractor or a digital nomad anywhere in the European Economic Area. You probably should start a business in Estonia. Estonia is a popular country for entrepreneurs, digital nomads, contractors, and freelancers, thanks to its streamlined, low-cost system for registering new businesses as non-citizen, for support for the entrepreneurial spirit, rapidly developing economy, and position as part of the EU. Now, let's keep going. Can foreigners start a business in Estonia? Yes, the Estonian government is very supportive of entrepreneurs and businesses and business owners, so it's easy and simple to open an enterprise in the country. There's a streamlined process for opening a business in Estonia, and you can do it all online without ever setting a foot in the country. So here, one of the most important phrases. So yes, you can do this from wherever you are, and you don't need to travel there. So now, what should you know before you start a business in Estonia? Before you start a business in Estonia, you'll need to get an e-residency. We have seen this before. Although it sounds like it involves living in Estonia, it's not a residency permit. It doesn't give you Estonian citizenship. It's more like a digital tool that you can use to open a company and manage your business and pay taxes. It's worth noting that you don't have to get e-residency you can instead apply for a visa to become an actual resident of Estonia, but that costs more and takes longer in the process. So yeah, so if you want to do this, of course, from abroad, then you will do it over the e-residency, right? If you want to move to Estonia completely, then it might be better to do it over the visa. So apply for e-residency. The first step is to become an e-resident. The application is online and takes about 30 minutes, guys. So this is very nice. When I read this is why also I put this here in my first pick. It looks very easy to do. I mean, 30 minutes and you can open up already, right? So the application form is online, takes about 30 minutes to complete. You need to briefly explain why you want to open a company in Estonia using e-residency and pay an application fee of 100 euros, which is also not much. Depending on the location of pickup, there may be an additional pickup fee of 30 euros. The government promises a reply within 30 days, but it's usually less. So sounds very, very easy to do, and yeah, totally be doable. Of course, you need to provide a reason, right? Like it said here. So maybe if you want to do prop trading, you work with multiple prop trading companies. They are basically your clients. So basically your reason is you do some kind of financial consulting. You provide signals to all of these clients. And the number one reason to give would be, of course, let's say you work with FTMO, but also with Funded Next and then also with the Funded Trader. They're all in different countries, right? So you could say you need this kind of online business from Estonia to be more efficient, because you have all of these clients that are in different countries, you know, and you want to streamline it and make it more easy, right? And this is why you chose Estonia. You want to have an international offshore business because anyway your clients are in different countries. So that would be my idea how I would frame it for a reason. Now note, every owner of the business needs to be an e-resident in their own right. If you're running a company with a partner, or you are a startup with a few founders, investors, each of you has to get a residency separately. Okay, so this is for people that have more partners in their company. So in this case, everybody needs an e-residency, right? Of course, even if you do prop trading, you can register your company with different people in your structure. That is possible. But then everybody needs an e-residency. Most likely you will do this only on your own. However, if you want to go into prop trading with partners, you can do so. I just know that how it is in FTMO. I don't know about other prop companies, but it's very, very similar. When you're registering a business with multiple partners, the person who owns the account, so if you are the person who trades and owns the account, you must be the ultimate beneficial owner. That means you must have over 50% of the share of the company, right? This is important to know. Now let's have a look here. Pick up your e-residency digital ID card. Once your application is approved, you will pick up the e-residency starter kit from a nearby location. You can choose your preferred location online as part of the application process. The kit includes your digital e-resident ID card, which you can use to register a business, pay taxes and more online, a digital USB card reader, access codes and access stick, so you can use your card to authenticate your identity and carry out business activities online. So this is basically what you will get, right? When picking up the kit, an official will also record your fingerprints as part of Estonia's anti-fraud practices. So I imagine there are some dedicated locations in the US where then basically you can pick this up and also get this fingerprint stuff going on. Now, once you have a e-residency, you can apply to start your business in Estonia. Don't worry, it's all online. Okay, so that is also nice. So after the e-residency, now you incorporate your business, right? So a physical address in Estonia, which can't be a residential address, a local contact person, right? So yes, you will get this kind of address, which is not a residential address, but like I said, it is all done online. So you don't need to go there and sit in an office or anything. There are plenty of service providers who carry this service out for you. Choose one from Estonia's residency marketplace. It usually costs around 30 to 150 per month, depending on additional services like accounting and bookkeeping. So here we have a range between 30 and 150 per month. All depends on what kind of services you need: accounting, bookkeeping. You need a person that is there the whole time and managing your business as well, stuff like that. That makes it, of course, more expensive. Now, very interesting, the next part. This I also like because it shows you there are a lot of different options, and this is also perfect for prop trading, where you're most likely working on your own, right? So what types of companies can you register when you start a business in Estonia? Estonian law recognizes 6 kinds of companies. So there's a private limited company, public limited company, sole proprietor, general partnership, limited partnership, commercial association. So basically, for prop trading, what route would you go? Either the private limited company, that is the just normal way, most likely you would do that, or the sole proprietor, right? One of them is basically the way you would go. Here it will break it down further, which is very nice to know. I think this is knowledge you should also know. So here's some information about each kind of enterprise to help you choose the best option for your business. Now, the private limited company. So what does that mean? This is the most popular type of company because it's flexible, limits exposure to risk, and doesn't require much capital. So if we're talking about limited companies, LLCs, basically these are companies where you are not liable. For example, if your company is in debt or goes bankrupt, anything like that, right? You as a private person are protected against that, right? Because the company itself is basically a person, right? So a private limited company is called, I'm not gonna say this word, Usahin in Estonian, but usually abbreviates to OU. It's appropriate for contractors and freelancers working alone. So this again is a key thing which I wanted to make sure on. So this I found in this blog article. If you have this limited company, right, the private limited company, can you work completely alone? Can you do it completely alone, or do you need partners, right? Here you can see this is appropriate for contractors and freelancers. Perfect, because this is exactly your status when working in prop trading, right? And here with the private limited company option, this would be an appropriate solution. So it is, like I said, for contractors, freelancers working alone, or for small groups of people running a business together. So then an OU has to have a management board, but that board can have just one member. Again, very nice. And that member can be you. So many OU companies in Estonia have only one employee and a board member, which is why it's so popular for contractors and sole traders. Perfect. Okay, this is exactly what we want to see. And this is why this is my #1 pick. But as I mentioned, we will go into some other options as well, because definitely I would always look into other options, right? I would not just look at one thing and just, go all in there. I would always look at different options, and we have some other options here, which we will look into soon as well. So here, these are some other paragraphs which you can go through. We will not go through it right now because this is additional information which I think we can skip. And yes, then basically the public company, this is not something that we need. So now we can also look at the sole proprietor. Let's have a look here as well. But as I said, I think in the most cases you will go for the private limited company. So now let's look at the sole proprietor to make this complete. If you're running a business all by yourself, if you're a freelancer, you can register as a sole proprietor or FIE, but most sole traders in Estonia register as a private limited company instead. Okay, so we see that most of people that are in this role of freelancing or independent contractor, they basically go with the private limited, which probably is easier to do. But let's see what is going on with the sole proprietor as well. And yeah, here you see it. I already said it, because it's easier and protects them from risk. So that's the main difference. It's easier to set up, and like I said, it protects you from risk. If you're a sole proprietor, then you are personally responsible to pay any liabilities that are associated with the business. Okay, so in this case, when you do prop trading, okay, it doesn't make a lot of difference, because think about it, in prop trading, your risk is anyway confined to the challenges. You don't have any other risk where your company basically takes on debt or does anything else like that. However, let's say you want to expand your business where you not only do prop trading, but maybe you do some other things as well that are maybe trading related, like selling courses or something, but maybe you want to also get some credit for that, for building up the business. For that, like I said, of course, then it would be better to build up the private limited company because that one protects you in case the company cannot fulfill the requirements it must fulfill, right? So this is basically the key difference. So this is why basically the private limited company is preferred. So with that being said, guys, here are the other options. We will not go through them because basically we found already what we need. Maybe let's have a look here at the end of the article. What is the best vertical for opening a business in Estonia? As long as your business is vertical, is legal, you can open it in Estonia. Some of the most popular business as e-residents are IT services, consultancy, marketing, e-commerce, and logistics. This is very nice because I would say with prop trading you are basically in a consultancy space because you basically do financial recommendations for the prop companies, right? These signals that you send there, this is basically what you do. You send signals to the prop company and you basically get a commission from the profitable signals that you send there, right? And you do this with your demo trades. Okay, so it's nice to see in this case, if consultancy is very popular to open in Estonia, then I would frame it like that when registering the business. Now, some areas of business have more regulations than others. If you want to open a business in a highly regulated industry like financial services, cryptocurrency, or construction, you probably need to get a license or submit a notice of economic activity before start any business activities. This is what I said already before, so this doesn't surprise me. Basically, as soon as you do anything in the markets, right, as soon as you like, oh, I'm running a hedge fund or whatever, then it gets all more complicated. Of course, it is also possible to still open a business that is in the financial services area, right? Yes, but I would try not to register like that because it's not true. You're anyway only doing demo trading and selling your signals, right? So yes, you're doing something with the markets, but it is not true that you're running a hedge fund, right? You're basically just providing these kind of trading signals. So now let's go to the next steps and we will try to speed it up a little bit here, guys. You can read through all of the information yourself. I will provide this link, of course, as well. So once you've got your e-residency, it is quick and easy to register your company in Estonia. Here are the steps you'll need to take. Decide what type of business to open, get the Estonian e-business register and complete the online form, sign the documents digital using your digital e-resident ID card, right? And it only takes 15 minutes, so that is amazing. We have seen before to get the e-residency is also not a long process. It takes 30 minutes online, but then of course it can take up to 1 month to be approved and stuff like that. However, it's said that it normally goes a little bit faster. Once you have the e-resident card, in 15 minutes you can then open up your company, which is amazing, right? So there's the registration fee. We have seen this before. It was something with 200 euros, so this is 265 euro, and most information forms are in English. That is of course also good. So before processing your company registration, make sure you have this e-residency ID card. Yes, we know we need that. Copy of your passport for anti-money laundering regulations, right? This is important. Like I said, this should not be as kind of scheme to try tax evasion or money laundering. This you need to be very careful. If you do that, then you will get in a lot of troubles. So like I said, this is not a way to escape US tax. That you cannot do, of course. You still need to pay your taxes in US. This is just to run a company abroad because it makes your processes more easy. Good, a local and physical address and contact person, yes, but you will get that. We have seen there are services that will provide you this virtual office. Good, this is also maybe important. Do you need to hire a lawyer to open a business in Estonia? So here, if you have e-residency, you won't need a lawyer to start a business in Estonia. You can do it all online without setting a foot in the country. Again, very good. But if you choose not to become an e-resident, you will need a lawyer and a notary to open the business for you. It's more expensive this way and takes longer. So of course the e-residency path is the best path to do. This is what we want to do. It's all online, it's easy, but nice to see that even if you don't want to take this e-residency, there is still a way how you could do it, right? So now let's go down. So we will skip this next part because it again talks about the e-residency, and I think we're pretty much good on this. So then corporate tax, we have seen it. Corporate tax is 0, but now let's see what it says here. Estonian business tax rate is 20%, but that's only for profits that you take out of the company, right? We have seen this with the distributed figure. If you reinvest your company profits into the business, you don't have to pay any tax at all. Okay, so we have seen that. Basically, the corporate tax rate is 0, but if you start taking money out of the business, start paying yourself, there is a corporate tax in place of 20%. This is basically the same we have seen before, where it was called, I think, distributive tax. Here, actually, you should meet with a consultant, tax consultant, in my opinion, because there are different ways to go about it, because basically you will also pay tax in the US, right? And I know that a lot of businesses, your salary is an expense on the business, so you need to definitely take a look into that. Unfortunately, I cannot give you any more advice here. So with this being said, guys, read it yourself. I will go now to the bottom. Here it talks about personal income tax, but personal income tax you would pay in the US. And we will go down more. Now about the business bank account, this maybe is also interesting. Here what I have found with the bank account is if you want to open a Estonian bank account, then you would need to go to the country. However, you can use other services, payment providers like Wise, etc., and then you don't need to go to the country. You can then connect your Wise account to your business, so make a Wise account, which is an online banking account, your business account, and in that way you have your business banking account and you don't need to go to Estonia. You only need to go there if you really want to open a local Estonian bank account, right? But there are many other options as mentioned that are online like Wise, and you can totally use them. All right, guys, and that is basically it. Read through everything yourself. There's also a nice FAQ section, which I would also recommend to you, because these kind of questions can definitely help you along the way. Maybe here in the FAQs also, again, important to know, can anyone start a business in Estonia? Yes, anyone is allowed to start a business in Estonia, but some countries don't have many e-residency ID card pickup points or don't have favorable tax agreements with Estonia. So here, this is also important to know. Like I said, this is not only for EU residents or people that are living in the EU. Everybody can basically do this. We can see this here. There's a Canadian, then a person from Australia, and here one from the US. So I'm sure many individuals from the US have already done this process, so they must be familiar with US clients. Now, what would be nice to know, and here unfortunately I cannot dig deeper now, you need to do this on your own, is what are these kind of tax agreements, right? Because it says some countries don't have favorable tax agreements with Estonia. Here's the question: how is it with the US? How is it if you run your business in Estonia but you're living in the US? Are there some kind of agreements so your taxes can be lower in total, or do you need to pay double everywhere? So this is the kind of thing I would definitely check out and see how it is. Then with the pickup points, this is nice to know because this is exactly what I thought. There are different pickup points, and there you need to see depending on your location in the US. I imagine if you're in a big city like New York, this should not be any issue, but where are the pickup points to get your e-residency card, right? Now on that point, I also want to mention a little disclaimer here, is that on the favorable tax agreements, right, with between the countries, you really need to see this on individual cases. For me, as I mentioned, my first priority was how easy it is to set up a business. This is why I chose Estonia. But if you do deeper research, it might be that, for example, the UAE has a more favorable tax agreement with the US, then you would try to go to the UAE, right? So you need to dig a little bit deeper here and see in the long term what makes more sense, right? Now, the Estonian police force does run a background check on every e-residency applicant. Of course, they must do this. That would be crazy if they would not do that, right? So if you have a criminal record, you might not be approved for e-residency. Okay, last point, of course, you must have a clean record. They don't want kind of people to come there with a criminal history, try to make some kind of a shady business, potentially, you know, do some tax evasions or try to escape somehow from the past or whatever. And of course, they need to do some background checks here. It makes total sense. With that being said, go over it yourself. We went to a lot of points right now, and let's now look at the other option, because the nice thing is even Estonia here is a very, very good option in my opinion for our purpose. There are even other options on the table, right? We have not even gone through them yet, so let's get going on them. Alright guys, then let's go to the next case I have here, which is also a good possibility, which is Georgia, which is also a very interesting country. I actually want to visit this country myself because I've heard a lot about the capital, which I think is Tbilisi, right? I want to see that, of course. I know this is also a hotspot, or at least it was a hotspot, I think it still is, for digital nomads. And yeah, so basically a lot of freelancers, digital nomads are there because of this very, very low corporate tax, and there's also an advantage if you start living there as well. So we'll go through that as well. I would try to get funded with different kind of companies. You know, I would try to get funded maybe with Funded Trader, FTMO, E8, whoever it may be, so that you have different clients, right? If you're funded with 2 companies or 3 companies, that means you have 3 clients, which looks better than if you have only 1 client, right? If you have only 1 client, that looks always kind of weird when you're registering a company, right? That's also something I should add. I don't know how it is in this case, right? This is a completely different case, but this is just my general knowledge about opening a company. So now let's continue then. So let's go to the second one, that is Georgia. Here, these kind of steps, sorry, they should be crossed out. This is copied from before, right? These are actually not not the steps in Georgia. Here, however, it is also something that you can open up all online from my understanding. So it's similar. Also, again, corporation tax is 0. And then the distribution tax is a maximum, goes up maximum to 20%. There's something called free industrial zones, FICs. These are special zones. If you incorporate there, then your distribution tax can become 0 actually, right? So this is a big advantage. However, to register your company in a free industrial zone costs a lot more, right? So this then depends on how much profit you make. If you make a lot of profit with your prop trading, then it makes sense to choose the free industrial zone, which is a very big advantage in that case. However, if your prop trading is still on a small level, then you would go for the normal zones, right? So now let's see that, right? Setup cost is 950 euros. This includes company formation, company registered address, tax registration, remote company formation with proof of address. So again, this is a virtual office kind of environment, I guess. Then opening a bank account remotely. So all of this, I believe, can also be done here online virtually, and you can set up your business in Georgia rather fast, get a bank account there as well remotely, which is very nice, and have the business running, right? Now let's have a look. The setup cost here, like I said, we saw before, is 950 euros, which is like a $1,080. Now what about the annual fees? So here we have the registered address, which is 150 a year, and filing and tax declaration is also a fee of 250. Okay, so we need to add these figures up. Let's go this arrow because this one here is the special corporation. Let's go down here. So setup cost is, like we saw, we round it up again here, is $1,100. we're just rounding it up, right? And the annual fees are around $450 rounded up, right? Therefore, this is the cost, right? But you don't have any corporation tax, which is super nice. And like I said, if you even go into these FIC incorporation zones, so these free industrial zones, that was the name, yes, free industrial zones, then, so this is the second way you can go, then you have no corporation tax, but also no distributed profit tax. That is very crazy. So that means when you pay yourself or you pay any employees of your companies, that means there's no tax on that. On those payments. So for this, however, the annual fee, this fee is annually is $5,000. So this is a lot. What does that mean? If your company generates over $5,000 each year, then it makes sense to go into this kind of model, right? Because you have this big tax advantage, right? This is what it basically means. All right, now we talked about this is the total figures right here. There is something that is special about Georgia. This is as a side note here. Of course, we have looked at the case now. We don't want to go to this country. We just want to have this offshore company, right? This entity. It's also called foreign controlled entity, right? If you're in the US, but your company is somewhere in another country, this is normally called also foreign controlled entity. Now let's look at this. A side note right here. If you want to become a resident, and this is special about Georgia, this is why it's nice. This is a little bit different from Estonia. Estonia has a high income tax as far as I know. However, the Georgia, if you go there, the personal income tax is very, very good. I mean, if you generate your money in Georgia, then it's normal, it's 20%. However, if your income is foreign source, foreign based, so for example, you are a freelancer, right? Or you can work anything online, which you can do with trading, right? It's all online. You can make money online, right? With prop trading. Then it totally makes sense to open up your company in Georgia, right? And move to Georgia. Why? Because then all of this money you make from prop trading is zero, right? Because it's foreign source, right? Where does your money come from? It comes from your prop company, and then it depends where is the prop company located. It's a US prop company, it's a Czech prop company like FTMO, it's a UAE company, it's all foreign source. So the crazy thing, if you think about it, this is very crazy, guys. If you think about it, Georgia is kind of a hack in my opinion, right? I mean, like I say, take everything here with a grain of salt. I'm just new to this information like you are, but think about it. If you're a prop trader, right? Let's say you're working with 3 different prop companies, right? Everywhere you have max allocation. Let's say you have 1 million prop money under management, right? So to speak. 1 million, what does it mean? It only means 100K, as we know, because the 10% maximum daily loss, however you can build that up. Let's say you have 1 million under management, then you can do very good payouts, right? With 1 million under management, you should be able, like modest figures, to generate a profit of between 5 and 10K every month. You should be able to do that on average, 5 to 10K every month, right? Because 1 million is a lot of funding. And what would you do in this case? You would go to Georgia, right? You would open up a free industrial zone. You would open up a company there in the free industrial zone because this has a better tax advantage. And what does that mean? And you would move there. So you would do all of that, right? You would do all of that. You completely go to Georgia, right? You open up a FIC incorporation, meaning all of this income you make from prop trading, your company doesn't need to pay any tax on it, right? But also the money you pay yourself as your employee, distributed tax is zero, so that you don't need to pay any tax on that, right? Then what about here personal income tax is zero as well. So with that being said, if you are here in Georgia, basically you can run your prop trading business without paying any tax on it, right? As far as I see that. However, keep in mind, again, US taxes everywhere and they tax double. It doesn't matter if what country you go. So I guess in a US case, it's special. If you are from another country, which doesn't tax you globally. I think this would be the biggest hack here with Georgia. US again is a little bit special, they still tax you everywhere. However, with that being said, if you're from another country besides the US, this would still be a very, very nice solution actually for your prop trading business. Okay, let's keep going, guys. So the next place I have here on the list is Cyprus. So if you have not heard about Cyprus, I mean, you guys are doing trading and stuff, so I'm sure you have heard about Cyprus. There are a lot of brokers right there. Cyprus has a financial industry which is growing and growing because it has a lot of benefits. It gives you access to the EU and basically also a lot of tax advantages. But also Cyprus is becoming more and more popular for freelancers as well, and as well as startups. It was not so big on startups, but that is changing as far as what I heard or I have researched. So very interesting. We have it on the list. Like I said, the best things I think are Estonia and Georgia. This I already showed you. The UAE is also interesting. We will go over that soon. But Cyprus is also on the list here to consider. So basically here you have a corporate tax of 12.5%. So the corporate tax here is not zero. However, there is a dividend tax of 0. Then we have a withholding tax of 0, guys. So now let's look here in Cyprus. It's a little bit more expensive to incorporate here, but it's also not that much. You have an incorporation fee, 1,300 euro. Then the bank account to open that up costs 400 euro, and the whole setup cost is 2,000 euro, which is $2,200. Then here it really depends regarding the annual fees. What does your company need? Do you need a nominee director? Do you need some shareholders in your company? Do you need a registered office? Do you need a company secretary? Do you need a company registration levy? So that depends. I mean, your company will be very small. You will have no shareholders, so you can save a lot of stuff here. But now here, all of this stuff here is included now in the cost. To just sum it up, that would bring up a setup cost of $2,200 and annual fees of 1,800 or 1,900 to round it up dollars. And here you can see again the whole setup cost and annual fee rounded. So for that, however, you get a corporation tax of 12.5%, which is very competitive, and a withholding tax of 0%. So Cyprus definitely is a very nice place where I also want to go. Actually, I've heard so much about it, especially it's a trading mecca, right? All the financial industries are also there. A lot of brokers are there. So as a trader, to go to Cyprus makes a lot of sense. But I believe this is more kind of a country where you maybe also consider living then, or maybe partially living, some months of the year. So maybe this is not something where you completely run it online. I think you can though, as far as I've researched here, because all the solution I've researched here is stuff that you can set up online, right? But Cyprus, I think, is more something that's a little bit more costly, but also the idea is maybe you live there a couple of months in a year, stuff like that, right? So, and the trading industry is there, so I had to bring it down on this list. All right, let's keep going, guys. We want to wrap it up a little bit. So then continued, we have Isle of Man. Isle of Man has a lot of advantages, but is costly. So this is more something for when you are a big prop trader, I guess. So let's have a look into that. Isle of Man is established business center, has a corporation tax of 0, has a dividend tax of 0, has a withholding tax of 0. It's insane. Basically everything is 0 right here. Very, very nice. And however, it also has a price, right? So incorporation is between 3,500 and 4,000 pounds. And guys, if you don't know where Isle of Man is, I should maybe mention this. I mean, I know that, but basically it's a part of United Kingdom, and basically it's a small island between Ireland and England. It is famous, this island is famous. There's one of those motorcycle events. I think the most famous motorcycle event is in Isle of Man, so it's famous for that, and it's a very established business center, and it's also kind of famous to be some kind of offshore haven, right? Stuff like that. So now let's go here again to the incorporation costs. What you get for that is a company formation, you get the government registration fees, you get a registered office for 1 year. So all of this is included in this price, so actually it's not that bad. So you get this registered office, so this is maybe again more something like a virtual office or maybe a small room, I don't know. You get a registered agent for 1 year, there, so that's nice. You have like a contact person that you can always talk to and which is handling some kind of inquiries about your company. Certificate of incorporation, memorandum, articles of association, registers of directors, register of shareholders. Shareholders, of course, you don't have any normally, and but all of that is included here. So incorporation, 3,500 to 4,000 pounds. Then offshore account, to open a bank account, is 400 pounds. So you can open an offshore bank account. If you want to have a bank account in the Isle of Man, then it's a little bit more expensive. It's 1,500 pounds, right? So now we will keep going here, guys, because we want to wrap it up kind of fast. So here is again the summarization of everything, and this brings up the setup cost, the total setup cost rounded to $6,000, annual fees to $1,500. So it's more pricey, right? But if you have a very profitable prop trading business, then this is it's totally doable. And keep in mind, it's crazy what you get. You get a corporation tax of 0, you get a distribution tax of 0. It's basically kind of what we have seen with the free industrial zones from Georgia. You get all of this in this Isle of Man as well, right? So everything is zeroed out. Now, side note, this is similar to what we have seen in Georgia. If you want to become a resident of the Isle of Man, so if you want to move there, maybe live there also a little bit, then it has personal tax big advantages, right? So the personal tax is there's a cap at 20%, so it cannot go over 20%. Then it depends on how much you make. It is advantageous. 20% is just the maximum cap. Then again, there's no capital gains tax, there's no inheritance tax, and there's no stamp duty. So very interesting. And guys, now let's keep going. We want to look at the last couple of things. There are other possibilities. So the next best thing I would say is the UAE. This could also be in the top things as well, I believe. However, UAE was a little bit difficult in terms of what are the costs, because they are very, very different, right? Depending on what kind of free zone you go. And let me show you guys this quickly. I have it somewhere up here. So here is a link. I will also provide it. So in UAE, you need to know there is a difference, right? So either if you want to incorporate in UAE, you can do a mainland business or an offshore business, like free zones, so-called free zones, right? So mainland in this purpose of opening up a prop trading business doesn't make any sense, because mainland means that you want to sell some products or some services in UAE, which you're not planning to do, right? So what you would want to go for is offshore. So this is the free zones. Again, this stuff, as far as I could find out, pretty much can be done everything online, right? Maybe for the bank account, maybe you would need to go there, but probably there are also some solutions that you can have other bank account services like Wise, etc. And as well, here you can enjoy this 0% tax. Now, important to know about the UAE, there are different kind of free zones, right? They have many that are famous, and each kind is specialized on some different kind of business, right? So it's depending what your business wants to do. There's even a free zone which specializes on crypto traders, like crypto traders that want to, open up an offshore business here. There is a zone, I think it was this one, DMCC, which is one of the most famous ones. So basically, crypto trading company could go to the UAE and register there with the DMCC zone. But like I said, this prop trading business is not even trading in the financial markets, right? This is the nice thing. So it's easier to register, right? Everything that has to do with the financial market is more difficult, because normally more money is involved and normally there are more regulations. But this is not even trading, right, in the financial markets. You're basically providing signal services. So in this case, you can probably go for a lot of zones right here, right? And kind of run it as a consulting agency or something like that, right? So just to let you know, there are different kind of zones. There are actually 44 zones located across the UAE, and so it's pretty crazy. It's a lot to study, and I have not looked into any details, but of course, if you set up a company there, what would be the first steps? You would try to get somebody who can help you, right? Who has registered already businesses before, and then get you settled there, right? Of course, that will also cost a fee, but it's better to do it that way than to make any mistakes, I guess. So here, of course, it's kind of the same idea. There will be some annual fee that you have to pay. Normally in the UAE, you can even set it up for 3 years and not only for 1 year. And also if you set up a business there, you can get a resident visa as well, so you can go into the country in and out, stuff like that, right? And what is very interesting about UAE, like I said, I will also link a video down here. If you have a business in the UAE, but I forgot if it was free zone or mainland, I forgot which one it was, but you can actually buy properties there with your business. So imagine you are a prop company trader that racks in a lot of profit. You can start buying properties in the UAE with your business, right? That is also very interesting. So you have access to buying properties there through your business. So very interesting. Like I said, I put all the videos and information below so you can study it yourself. So here again, business setup process, decide the type of legal entity, find an office space. This again can be in virtual office, right? Where there is just basically a mailbox for you, maybe a phone, and maybe some guy like managing it, like looking there, you know, looking if there's something new, and then inform you, right? Choose a name for the entity, obtain pre-approval, register the business, and get the license, apply for a trade license. Okay, so here decide the type of legal entity. This is again the free zone limited liability, the free zone establishment. So here there are different types. There you need to look a little bit more in detail. Like I said, especially in the UAE, it was so much information that it was too much for me to go through all of this, like you can see, guys. And this is why in my list I put it here in other possibilities, and it could be more up. I believe UAE would be, if I would need to, you know, open up now a offshore prop company business, I would consider 3 things. I would consider Estonia, I would consider Georgia, and I would consider UAE. I think these are the best ways. Of course, Isle of Man was also a very nice example, but this is, I think, more high class. These 3 locations would be my favorite, right? So guys, let's keep going here, because there's so much information about the UAE. I would say if you're very interested, do your own diligence, but the costs can widely vary. You know, for some businesses like crypto trading, the cost is pretty high. For some other businesses, it's lower, stuff like that, right, to incorporate it. So then other places that are worth to mentioning is Malta. Malta is also kind of this offshore business place, which is very nice, gives you access to EU, which has tax benefits, etc., and where incorporation is not that difficult. Then Hong Kong is another one, kind of far away, but of course if you're located in Asia or something, maybe that makes sense. Singapore is another one, Andorra is another one. These are just places you can look into it. Then surprisingly, this maybe would also be interesting for a US client trying to open a business. So the last kind of things, they're not like the best possibilities, I guess, also not in terms of taxes and stuff. However, if you have some personal ties to these countries, right, then you should look into. So UK, it is from what I have seen, very easy as a foreigner to open a business there as well, and get a virtual office space as well, and run a limited liability company there as well, right? So UK, you can look also into it, and it's also cost efficient, right? And if you do something with trading, you know, a lot of stuff goes through London. So if you have a prop trading business, that would make sense for the prestige and everything to have it in UK as well, right? You can even get a virtual office space in London that you can totally do. And I don't know, maybe you want to do something else with your business. Maybe you want to do some financial education. You want to have some more stuff that is prestige. Then you can register it in London, have a virtual address there, and then you can put in your website that actually your business is in London, stuff like that, right? That's also completely possible from what my research, what I found out. Then New Zealand is apparently also a place where it is kind of easy to open up an offshore business. Also has some kind of advantages. Then Norway, same again. If you want to be interested in Europe, Norway apparently is also a place to look into. Now guys, the very last place I wrote down is, this is not something that came up when I looked for offshore businesses, where's the best stuff in terms of taxes and stuff. This is something I researched also myself. Canada, I have it down here, not per se because it's an advantageous location, but because of its proximity to the US, right? So I researched that in Canada also it is not hard to open up a virtual business, virtual office, and open up a business. So maybe this is for maybe US traders that are close to Canada, like right, maybe you are close to Canadian border. Maybe for you it makes sense then to just open up a business in Canada. As far as I have researched though, what is a little bit complicated in Canada, I mean the process is easy to do it. However, in a lot of cases you need to have another Canadian person inside the business. That is a little bit of a problem, but it depends. Like if you go to British Columbia, there are some exceptions. Depends also in the location in Canada where it can be 100% foreign controlled. So like I said, if you're maybe close to British Columbia, you are sometimes in Canada as well, maybe you can, it makes more sense to just travel to Canada and, you know, meet persons, real persons in the real world, you know, not everything online, and just open a business entity there. And in some zones in Canada you can have a 100% foreign controlled entity. So if that you know, from what I have read, that is especially in British Columbia. So if you're maybe close to there, maybe you live in Seattle or somewhere, I would maybe look into opening up a business in Canada potentially, right? Because just the location is much more closer than all the way somewhere in Estonia, right? So that is something why I wrote it down here. It doesn't seem that difficult to do. It seems rather easy. You can get a virtual office space, which is also cheap. I looked at it, you can pay somewhere $60-80, which is not much, and you have a virtual office, and that is in Canada, right? So with that being said, guys, this is how we want to wrap it up. I hope this information was valuable to you. For me, I kind of knew this offshore stuff because I've looked into this already, like in, you know, I was FTMO trader already in 2021, something like that. At this point, I especially looked into that because I was interested actually to know how it is to open up a business in the United Emirates Estates, right? In the UAE, I wanted to look into that. So I had research on that already. But the other places like Estonia, Georgia, these kind of things are more new to me. I heard about them, of course, but now I did some deeper research. So very interesting to find out more about that places. And my personal goal, to be honest, now I became FTMO trader again. I want to get the maximum allocation in place, right? Once I have that in place, of course, I want to actually visit these countries. I want to travel around a little bit. I want to become more of a global citizen. And then, you know, these are big advantages. You know, you just need to educate yourself, become smarter in your life. So I would definitely want to see the places in real life. You know, for me, I would not be a person that just wants to open up something somewhere where I never went to that place, right? I want to have some personal connection to the place. For me, it should be a place where I want to travel sometimes in the year. Keep in mind, with I think all of these places, if you open up a company there, you also get some kind of residency permit, right, where you can also then live there from time to time. So this is also a big advantage. So it makes you more flexible, right? You can travel around the world more easily as well. So very interesting topic, very interesting knowledge, I think, as well. And for me personally, like I said, if I would reach the maximum allocation with FTMO, now I'm still away from that. I just passed the 100k FTMO challenge and verification, both of that is passed, but now next I'm planning to do a 200k, then I would have 300k, etc. Then with time I would also want to look into these kind of possibilities, because I do think if you understand all of that, you have tax advantages that you can use. First of all that, then second of all, it makes the whole process more secure, because you don't know what happens with regulations. And like I said, it opens up your mind, right? You see more countries and you have just more possibilities, right, as well. So with that being said, guys, I see you in the next one and hope you could take a lot away. This was definitely not an easy topic. I tried my best, and yeah, I catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. Peace.